Okay, we're ready because we're live already. Now we're here. We're live. Hello, we're the Nerd
On the
Ledger.
internet. Yeah.
I'm Cage. That's Chair.
I'm Chair. He's Cage.
Yeah,
What? Something like that.
yeah.
Um,
Um.
Biggest news of the day, I think. Should we just jump into it? Do you want to go over our days? Do you want to? What do you want to do? What feels right? What feels best to serve your personal self in this moment?
Well, we can start with whatever. Um.
Do you think the SAG is going to strike and like really, literally shut down like all production Hollywood all the time everywhere?
It's possible. The biggest like thing for me is like I wish I could care about this stuff, but I just don't.
Yeah. I think we'll be careful. So, for those of you that don't know what's going on, the Screen Actors Guild, or more commonly known as SAG, they're basically like the extras and the actors and makeup, all of everyone that you know. Whenever you see a human, oh, he's gone. So I'll take this moment to explain what's going on. So basically, when you see a human being like on a big screen, like in a movie theater, 9 times out of 10, that person most likely is involved with the Screen Actors Guild in some way. So it's like a big deal. That because this combined with writing means that there's going to be like no production at all. Like Deadpool 3 is a great example of this. Deadpool 3 can continue to film because they don't need to have writers present on set because they're not rewriting the script. The script is already complete. So, but if the Screen Actors Guild were to strike, they wouldn't be able to get extras for the scenes that they do. Maybe Hugh Jackman. I'm not sure. Like a lot of the big actors, like they're so big that they can kind of go fully independent. Though many of them still do support the Screen Actors Guild. At the end of the day, I'm not sure about Hugh Jackman or Ryan Reynolds, like position on the Screen Actors Guild, but I assume that they're part of it, or one of them supports it in some way. But basically, like Deadpool. I was just explaining that right now. Like the perfect example is Deadpool 3. Deadpool 3 is shooting because they don't need to rewrite the script. But if they were suddenly all of their extras and everything like that were to like just not show up one day, they would have to stop filming basically. Or like if Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds on what's his name? It's Reynolds, right?
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds were to go on strike, like they couldn't shoot because they don't have their stars. Like the people like the guy who played Logan, and the guy who's been Deadpool for the last 2 movies. So yeah, that's what I'm just saying. Like that would bring it right to a halt. So that it'd be really pushed back by like a lot because like every day is like probably a few weeks of editing. So yeah, it's pretty wild. Like both them going on strike at the same time
Uh.
because new movies. So that means that new movies are being stopped right now, and anything like so because there's no writers right now, so anything new is not in production. Like period. And with the Screen Actors Guild going on strike, that would mean that anything that's currently in production would also stop. So there's like no, like, that would be the whole latter half of this year probably if they're doing like fall editing and want to release in for Christmas time, where you're depending on the show.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's expected that the writers, I mean the actors are also gonna strike, like in
Mm-hmm.
solidarity or something. I don't know exactly, but um,
Well, also I also think that apparently they're having issues in like they're in contract negotiation right now because everyone's contracts are up, and apparently they're having issues coming to settlement on like uh, payment from I don't know what the specific word was, but apparently income from streaming is they feel it's like not what it should be, and also apparently they're using like so they want to make some commitments about like not using AI or something like that. I don't know. They won't sign either. So
yeah. Well, the
yeah.
the thing is like, I think things change a lot in industries,
Mm,
and like it's normal, but it
yeah.
seems like when it comes to acting and writing and entertainment, they're less willing to adapt to that change, and they just want to be paid the same, despite the fact that the money doesn't come in the same way,
Yeah.
right? And it's like in some aspects, sure, I get it, and that's why they're part of a union, and that's why all this stuff is happening. Like so that you can fight for those wages and stuff. But there are like
Mm,
it's hard for me to care about that stuff just simply because there are people who work in other industries that just get wiped out entirely, who don't have any recourse or anything, and just lose everything they have and aren't privileged with that kind of lifestyle. And I get it, writers aren't like the richest people in the world, but like they want to live a better lifestyle. They move to LA, and well, most of them do, and whatever, and like that's their dream, and that's the lifestyle they want to live and be a part of. And to be a part of that, you have to make a lot of money. And when you're not making money off syndication anymore and advertising, you have to make money in other ways. And
Yeah.
like the I get it, like it used to be you'd work on these 22 episode seasons or whatever, and you're part of, you're on the set all the time, you're getting paid all that time. Whereas now it's like streaming is like, okay, we have these 8 episodes we're gonna do, and you're gonna write it, and then that's it. You're not gonna be on set for filming, so your job is shorter. But then if we need rewrites, we whatever, things like that. I
Yeah.
get like how they could argue, well, whatever they want to argue, but if you're not in a contract, you can find other work. like
Yeah.
like you can find things to supplement your income like everybody does in the real world. And like, aren't these things also true of like cameramen, boom mic holders, all these people that used to work on 22 episode television and now are only working on 8 episode television? Don't they also have the same issues? Don't the actors then also have the same issues, like who are getting paid per episode, etc., etc.? Like, I mean,
Yeah, I think, probably just a lot of, like you're saying, is basically like the old world is like running, like it's like a train, like running into a wall. Basically, is like the new, like just the new world of like where we are right now. And like this AI stuff too. Like right now, it seems like kind of a joke, but the internet was kind of a joke at first. Dial-up used to really suck, and now look at us. Like
yeah, I
imagine
spoke
where
with.
this AI stuff is going to be in 10 years, dude. Like we're streaming live around the internet
Well,
all the
not
time.
even 10 years. Imagine where it's gonna be in another year. Like,
Yeah, like,
I spoke with someone who I regard as pretty intelligent,
hmm,
about AI, and they're like, no, AI is more or less just like a search engine. And I was like, bro, you are tripping.
yeah,
Like he's like, well, everything in AI is based off of existing knowledge. Well, sure, but I can't just Google, like type into Google, write me a song, and it'll write me a song. Like
yeah, and I
AI
write a
is
good
is
song too.
different.
Yeah, it's on another level. Like, I think it's just, I think people are finally waking up to that. Like, I
Right.
don't, I don't know. Like, listen to, like, for artists. Like, I think artists will be okay because like when you have your own personal unique art style, that's what makes Picasso, or this person that makes some legends throughout time. Like, just time. Like, there's, you put your own personal flair that I don't think an AI will ever be able. I don't think an AI is capable of making its own personal flair yet.
Well, I mean,
Like maybe in 100 years that'll be different, but I just, I think there's like, into for writers too, like, just something about, I don't know. Maybe I hope maybe we'll see an AI like generated something like show soon that'll be
well,
moderately entertaining. But I just think for heartbreaking shit, like something that like really tugs at your heartstrings, I don't know. I really feel like it's got to come from a human being, or maybe I'm just being sentimental, like all the people I'm like throwing casting down right now. But
yeah, I
I
mean,
don't
AI is not there yet. I mean, there are AI television shows already, like that, like stream. There's like a SpongeBob
know.
one.
Yeah, this fight
Uh,
got shut down because it got.
yeah,
It was like,
A Frasier one, or
yeah,
Seinfeld or something like spin-off.
yeah.
They exist. And yeah, it's crazy
What
what
I would
AI can do.
imagine what I imagine is going to happen someday is that you'll have like an AI production house with just people that does nothing but watch AI content 24/7 for the best stuff, and then someone takes it and they pass it to like a human editor and like another another personal AI, and then they just chop it up and make it amazing. You know,
Yeah.
like it seems like it's such a small team. Like you don't need a bunch of people anymore, which is the strangest part of it all. Like you just need a computer that's like really good and some good internet, and then
Yeah.
that's it. Like you don't need hundreds of extras to generate a scene anymore. You don't need hundreds of this, hundreds of that. Like it's like being on the Wild West.
Well, the truth of it is that AI for almost all professions will be used as a tool to save time and money. But
Yeah,
it will also it will replace some jobs.
people. Yeah,
And that's just the nature
I think a lot
of the
of
world.
I
Well,
think too
sorry,
like
it's
I'm the nature of like our market. I
it's
think is like
it's the nature of capitalism.
yeah, I think it's gonna it's some things that, like some people think and to like the generation that screams "Skulls communism," like as soon as they hear anything like promoted to like social welfare at all, like they're on the way out. So it's just it's just like anything when you have like a factory that produces everything for free and they're like you remove all jobs from the market, you need to start doing something different. And I hope we'll start thinking about these things soon. we should probably turn away from this because it's probably too deep for the viewer that came here and how this ties
Yeah.
into SAG now.
Yeah. All good. But yeah, we're here. We have some news. We have some news to talk
Well, we were just
about.
talking about news, but yeah, we have more news we can talk about.
We
Probably
yeah.
isn't like
Well, I mean, mostly it's all James Gunn news.
Oh boy, my favorite. I love it when people go on social media and blast up how amazing their products, how amazing their products are.
Bro, we didn't talk about how crazy the Flash's marketing campaign was, but I feel like that's something that really needs to be
I'm
examined.
still waiting for how balance of power and seeing how the balance of power in the DCU has permanently shifted, bro. It's changed forever
Oh well,
because of
that was the
the
Rock
Black
thing,
Adam.
though, But yeah, no, you're not wrong. But yeah, it's mostly James Gunn news. But other than that, if you guys didn't know, I've been working on some musics, and I'm gonna be releasing it soon. Not yet. I still have to fix some shit, but I'll keep everyone informed. Anyway, yeah. So I can just I can just read out some of the news. Shit. Oh, but also
But also,
let me do this. Oh my god, OBS is frozen.
yeah,
Fuck.
I wonder if you could use AI to write a new language.
I'm sure you could.
Yeah, I'll try that later.
What the fuck? What the hell? Not that. Downloads. Yo, hello. My brother? Alright. Well,
Right.
apparently.
Are you alright? What's going
Yeah.
on?
Well, I was trying to pull up a picture, but anyway, I will not do that because it's not working. But okay, we have news, and it's like all about DC. But first, not about DC. And I'm gonna read it on my phone because if I bring it up on Chrome on my computer, the whole shit will
It'll
lag
crash.
out.
Yeah, no worries. I understand.
Yeah. So this is something that like I don't really like think about ever because
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't relate to me in any way whatsoever. But like I know, like I just understand it to be a truthful fact of life that pretty much everyone drinks or participates in some kind of recreational drug activity
Yeah.
uh, at one point in their life or another. But it still kind of surprised me when I saw this article that's about Tom Holland talking about
Mm-hmm.
sobriety, because Tom Holland's like a young guy,
Yep.
and like it's like weird to think about.
He's dating like a model, I'm sure, and I know she probably gets the parties really hard. Like, this is what happens in LA, man. Like this just probably what happened to Ezra Miller. Like, there's one too many freaking nightclub nights. Just boils your brain alive when you do all those drugs and alcohol at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, like I understand it. Like, and he's English as well, and English people tend to drink a lot.
Yeah, go for the pint.
Yeah, but I mean, it's part of culture, and it's part of most cultures, right? And so again, it's like something that like kind of surprised me reading that he's talking about sobriety, but then I'm like, it shouldn't, because obviously like people party to excess in Hollywood a lot. So
Mm.
yeah, he opened up about sobriety and mental health. He was on a podcast pretty much, and oh, sorry, there was like a beeping, and I was like, what the fuck is beeping? It's my fucking dryer. Anyway,
Uh,
so I guess he noticed that like he'd been drinking a bit too much over the holidays and stuff. So this is what he said. He said, I didn't one day wake up and say I'm giving up drinking. Just like many Brits, I had a very boozy Christmas. I was on vacation and I was drinking a lot. I've always been able to drink a lot. I think I got my genes from my mom's side. I can drink. I decided to just give it up for January. I just wanted to do dry January, and all I could think about was having a drink. It's all I could think about. I was waking up and thinking about it. I was checking the clock when it's 12. He said it just really scared me. I was just like, wow, maybe I have a little bit of an alcohol problem. So I just decided to punish myself and say I'll do February as well. I'll do 2 months off. If I can do 2 months off, then I can prove to myself that I don't have a problem. 2 months go by and I was still really struggling. I felt like I couldn't be social. I felt like I couldn't go to the pub and have a lime soda. I couldn't go out for dinner. I was really struggling and started to really worry that I maybe had an alcohol problem. I think this is something maybe a lot of people can relate to.
For
Um,
sure.
but again, like for me, I can't relate in any way. Like I've had those thoughts since I don't drink. Like it's weird to go out to bars with people because
Yeah.
like I don't have any problem with it. Like I can have a good time still, but other people might look at me weird. Like, and I've been like called out by strangers for not drinking at bars. I've been like
Yeah, I remember
asked
reading
why I'm places like that when I don't drink and things like that. So like it's like it can get awkward. But as someone like for people who like do drink a lot who then stop drinking, like I can understand like your whole world has changed essentially because everything you used to do revolved around drinking,
Yeah.
right? Like so I get that, but like it's hard to relate because obviously like again like I've never been like, oh, I shouldn't go out to dinner or because there might be alcohol present because there never there never is. So
Yeah.
um
Yeah, for sure. There's like a danger, like, when you make drinking like part of your personality. Like, I always try to keep my personality a little fluid, because you don't want to really, you know me. So you see me playing different video games all the time, and I'm always all over the place with what I'm reading or what I'm talking about or what I'm currently interested in, stuff like that. And it's just that, the same struggle sometimes, the same thing with like cannabis. Like this morning, I just woke up and didn't wake and bake. Like, that's it. Especially since I had family home and my uncle home and everything like that. We've been partying hard, for like 4 weeks. I was like getting up every morning smoking a bunch of weed, and it was very healthy. But it's just what you do with family, and you just drink and have a good time, and yeah, and so like I can understand that, and there's a lot of people I think can emphasize that when they're coming off of it, and when you can't go to the bars anymore too, that's like a big thing. I don't know. It's easy for me to like rationalize a lot of things, so I can understand like being how to pull away from something, so I can see the path forward for myself. But I know for a lot of people, like it's difficult for them to like visualize that path forward. Or you got to take it one day at a time, because
yeah.
you either
Yeah.
see the whole thing all at once, or they look down and they only see their standing feet, not moving. So it's pretty wild. It's hard. It's hard though. It's hard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and again, like, well, because I couldn't bring the picture up, like, I'll just talk about it now. But like, it's similar to the there's a set photo of Hugh Jackman in the Wolverine suit finally, right with
Mm.
Deadpool, and you look at where Deadpool and Wolverine were 14 years ago during X-Men Origins Wolverine. You would have never
Mm.
thought you'd get that today, right? And it's just like one of
Yeah.
those things where it's like, you know, you may not be able to see where things are going or how your life will turn out or how small changes now can affect you in the long term. But when you're there, you look back and just, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So he kind of he continued. He decided. He said, "I would wait until my birthday, which is June 1st." I said to myself, "I can do 6 months without alcohol, and then I can prove to myself that I don't have a problem." By the time I had got to June 1st, I was the happiest I've ever been in my life. I could sleep better. I could handle problems better. Things that would go wrong on set that would normally set me off, I could take in my stride. I had so much better mental clarity. I felt healthier and fitter. I just sort of said to myself, why am I enslaved to this drink? Why am I so obsessed by the idea of having this drink? If you want the answer, it's because of chemical dependencies your brain
Chemicals.
creates.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's the rational answer. When you need an answer for the soul, it's because it's just nice to have a drink every once in a while, and then like you just always associate it with a good time. And the good thing about a blackout is that you can black out literally all the bad times you do when you're drinking, and you only think about all the good things you did. So,
right.
or sometimes some people like me for a long time. A problem that I had is that I thought drinking would fill me with confidence, so I could go and talk to people. So that's one thing that you got to look past too. Is some people think they're just like a better at partying when they're drunk, and Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Still like drinking though. It's nice to have a good time every once in a while, but usually I just kind of do it alone these days because I just enjoy the sensation of being drunk. Like, just not from an emotional standpoint. It's just like when you start playing video games and stuff, you just do well. For like playing GTA 5 when you're all trashed is hella fun because you're just like, like running off the sidewalk and driving into the freeway and flipping people off in your car. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's kind of like it reminds me of when I first started working at this comic book store when I was like 16, and the owner like one night, like we were out talking after the shop had closed, and he was like, bro, have you ever read a comic book high? And I was like, what the fuck? No, I don't get high. So
The words pop, bro. The words pop.
He's like, bro, it changes your fucking life. Like, he's like, you'll never experience anything like reading a comic book high. I was like,
I don't know. I don't know about that one, but like
I mean, like, you know,
getting video games while high is fun as fuck. That's all I know. I don't know about life changing experience. Like if you want a life changing experience, take a bunch of mushrooms and go walk into the woods, and your brain chemistry will literally change permanently forever. So there you go.
Yeah. Tom Holland did clarify. He said, I don't want to be that person that's saying to people, you should get sober. He said, if I can encourage someone to drink less, then that's great. But I don't want to start getting into the world of you need to stop drinking because it's not for me to say. I went on my own little journey. I'm really enjoying it. I'm delighted that my mom's almost given up. She's loving it, and it's been amazing. I can't believe the difference that I feel from not drinking. Yeah, I feel amazing. So that's what he had to say.
So on top of that, there's a number of health issues associated with drinking heavily in the long term that we should probably point out as well for most people that aren't sure. It does been noted to raise your blood pressure extremely over time, and people who don't drink obviously have lower blood. Like I'm sure your blood pressure would be really low compared to mine because I do like things, and. But aside from that,
and if you have high blood pressure and you have to take high blood pressure medication, you're not supposed to drink with that either. So that causes more complications if you decide to continue on.
Yeah, wild world. But I'm glad he's not like because I understand what it's like to just have a really stressful like personal life where you have family and things that are your control that you're trying to help manage. Because you're a good person. And like, damn, the only time you're allowed to like be yourself is like when you're just chilling and having a good time with a drink in your hand. Like I've been there, and I understand it. Like so, it's like the one thing that's keeping you going because you got like you don't got a lot else going on. So don't be condescending. Do what's healthy. It's the most important thing. Do what's healthy for you. If you're not spiraling out of control, you're probably okay.
I mean, the truth of the matter is that most people aren't well-adjusted individuals, and
neither am I.
And so a lot of people drink or do other things to avoid their problems or not have to worry about them. And if they were well adjusted, then they either wouldn't have to do those things or they would be able to balance those things, right? Like, it's something where, okay, I don't want to deal with this right now. I just want to get fucked up and have a good time, and I'll deal with it tomorrow or the next day or whatever. But again, a lot of people continue to just avoid problems as much as they can, which is normal. Like, I get it. I like to avoid problems too. Like, I like to tackle problems, but like, I don't like inconvenience, right?
Yeah.
Like I dedicate my life to avoiding inconvenience. And it's something that is a struggle when you are married because, people are different and it can create clashes, but then you work those things out. But I empathize, but I think Tom Holland's sentiment is very nice, and proud of him. So
yeah, he seems like a good guy. He's been in a lot of shitty movies lately. The Uncharted movie was just bad. Like it seems like someone like played Uncharted like once and like was like, wow, that was fun. I'm just gonna like not be inspired by this at all. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, my wife watched that movie. I think she liked it, but she never played the game, so I don't know if that makes a difference. But okay, on to the start of the James Gunn news. So James Gunn's Superman Legacy has cast 3 major DC heroes. So this was confirmed by Vanity Fair. Isabella Merced Edie Gategi, and Nathan Fillion have all joined Superman Legacy in major roles. Isabella Merced is going to be playing Hawk Girl. She was in Transformers Last Night, and she's going to apparently be in Madam Web. But she will be playing Hawk Girl. Kategi, he was in the Twilight films. He also was in X-Men First Class. He was the chameleon guy who got turned to dust by Kevin Bacon. He's going to be playing Michael Holt, a.k.a. Mr. Terrific. He is a character that James Gunn has largely teased on social media as well. And Nathan Fillion, if you guys don't know who that is, he plays Malcolm Reynolds in Firefly. He was in Castle. I never watched that series. He's been in a bunch of shit. In a lot of James Gunn projects as well, including Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. He's been cast as Guy Gardner, a.k.a. one of the many Green Lanterns. This is pretty big news, I think. I know you don't read comic books a lot or ever, but
ever. Yeah, that's a much better way of putting it. Sometimes, I'll see sexy pictures of comic book panels posted online because they're really attractive women in them. That's about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, but you are or were a huge fan of Justice League of America and Justice League Unlimited, right? And so
I've seen all the comic book shows, all the DC shows. Batman animated series. You watched some of the Superman animated series when they had it on, but it didn't run very long. So
yeah. So
you're
you're familiar with Hawk Girl, right?
Yep. Yes, I am.
I don't know how familiar you are with Mr. Terrific, or Guy Gardner Green Lantern, but I know you're familiar with Jon Stewart Green Lantern.
Yep. So, he's badass. I wish you could add him.
Yeah, but essentially, right, okay, I'll just for people who don't know. So, DC has had multiple iterations of Hawkgirl. She first appeared alongside Hawkman in the pages of Flash Comics. One iteration is Shiera Sanders Hall, the reincarnation of the Egyptian princess Shiara, and the partner of Hawkman. In the Silver Age, the pair's canon was retconned into being cosmic police officers from the planet Thanagar, with Shiara now being known as Shiera Hall. Shiara later changed her superhero moniker to Hawkwoman in the 1980s, a name she has held in the years since. The modern-day version of Hawkgirl is Kendra Saunders, who was created by James Robinson, David Goyer, and Scott Benefiel in JSA Secret Files No. 1. Kendra was a young Hispanic woman who became possessed by Shiera Hall after committing suicide and who went on to reluctantly embrace her destiny as Hawkgirl and still holds the mantle to this day. This will be the second time Hawkgirl is portrayed in live action after Sierra Renee played Kendra across the CW's Arrowverse shows. Mr. Terrific is a mantle originally held by Terry Sloan, a billionaire turned superhero who became a member of the Justice Society of America. He was subsequently succeeded by Michael, who was created by John Ostrander and Tom Mandrake in 1997's Spectre number 54. Michael is a genius Olympian who took up Terry's mantle, joined the modern-day JSA, and impacted the DC universe with his super-skilled technology, including the T-Spheres. Michael also became the leader of the Terrifics, an ensemble homaging Marvel's Fantastic Four that also stars Plastic Man, Phantom Girl, and Metamorpho. DC's Guy Gardner was created by John Broome and Gil Kane in 1968's Green Lantern number 59. Guy is a blue-collar man who accidentally becomes a backup Green Lantern to Hal Jordan. He has gone on to have a unique DC tenure, both as a Lantern, a member of the Justice League International, and as the Alien Warrior. Guy Gardner has previously been portrayed in live action by Matthew Settle in the ill-fated Justice League of America TV movie of 1997. Finn Wittrock was set to portray the character in Max's Green Lanterns series before it was scrapped and retooled into the current DCU Lanterns series. You guys got all that?
Yeah. Nothing out of mouthful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about the Hawk Girl actress, but I do know the Mr. Terrific actor from various projects, and I think he'll do a great job. And then Nathan Fillion is, of course, just a terrific actor. He's voiced Green Lantern, not least of all in the Flashpoint Paradox, but that was Hal Jordan, not Guy Gardner. But yeah, he's fantastic. So I'm excited for this. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm just gonna the casting decisions. Like like I don't know most of this stuff like off the top of my head and everything like that. So I'm just gonna wait and see the movie. I'll be the it'll be great. It'll be for most of our hundreds of thousands of millions of viewers and listeners across the globe too. Like when they're tuning in, they're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna project myself on a chair because I know that he's like the simple man. He's the everyman man. Like goes in, he's like, I don't know nothing about no comic books. I'm just looking to get entertained. Or like the backstory or all the news, like who's casted as who, like that's great that he was in this show from '98. Whoa, that didn't do so well. Fantastic, like awesome. Like what else? Like how is it well written? Are the characters relatable? Are there scenes that I will find visually like something I've never seen before on the screen? That don't look like they were printed out on a piece of paper and then the camera sped around them really fast, like in the Flash. It's just
Bro, this is the
yeah.
thing. Like, it's crazy to like for people who don't watch a lot of like older movies or like a lot of cinema in general, including myself. Like, it's hard to get kind of lost in the sauce sometimes of all these like spectacles you see on the screen.
Yeah.
But like again, like I mentioned last time, like rewatching the Indiana Jones movies, like the way they're directed, the things they do is just like incredible. And like you don't see that level of like directing and filmmaking in a lot of these movies, like the superhero movies specifically. And I don't know if it's because they're not allowed to have a voice because of the studios or this or that. Like I don't care about any of that stuff, but it's like when you look at what Steven Spielberg did with those movies and like just how they shot so many different intricate things with less tools than they have today.
Just
And
for
then
me, like the crowning achievement of Spielberg will always be Jurassic Park. Like it's just like the first Jurassic Park movie. Like I just watched this on Reddit the other day. That scene again where that freaking T Rex's head pops up next to the car and it shines on the eye. Like damn, dude. And then they're mixing it up with CGI and robots, like how you're supposed to instead of just painting green on everything and then making it all CGI. Like it's fantastic, amazing stuff. Those freaking raptors, still the raptors to this day. Or some, it's like that scene when they're in there is so intense. When they're locked in that little kitchen and running away from the raptors using the reflections to get them all fucked up. It's on another level, man. That's all I got to say. Like and Indiana Jones was prelude to that, and it's just
yeah.
Man, and I think we are really spoiled from camera angles for all these landscapes because again, like it's just look at the Little Mermaid. A lot of the scenes that were shot underwater were underwater. Like they were in a giant green set, and like she was bouncing around the back of those turtles while in full green, and looked like and every no who's still talking about the Little Mermaid movie now? Nobody, because it wasn't very impressive and it wasn't anything we hadn't seen before.
Did you watch it?
No,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Right, yeah, I see, but I saw enough. Like I just of why you should hate this movie. Like just looking at all the visual effects that are just not done well. Like I could tell I was already gonna hate it because the flounder. Like I didn't really like the Little Mermaid as a kid, so I'm probably a little bit biased. But also like you can tell if a movie was good or not, of whether or not people are still talking about it. Case in point, people were talking about The Force Awakens forever on the internet after it came out. So and it's just what they did to like Flounder and the Crab, like that was the only entertaining part to me of that movie, and they don't they look really weird. Like I watched a compilation of them on screen on YouTube, and it just wasn't good stuff, man. It's not good stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy like to think about CGI in the early 2000s, and there was a lot of really bad CGI.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. Like Weta helped push the envelope in a lot of ways. For people unfamiliar, Weta Workshops is is essentially built alongside Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings movies, and they do a bunch of CGI today as well. But they push the boundaries in a lot of ways in the early 2000s. But it's hard to find any like mocap or CGI to rival Gollum from those movies.
Yeah.
Like people could argue Gollum would have been better with practical effects, but I don't think you could capture his body size with practical effects. Like sure his face, but not his full, withering away skeleton.
Yeah.
But like that motion capture, like that performance was, it's hard to think of anything in the modern day that rivals it.
Yeah.
I mean, Thanos was great, like he looked great, but even that like wasn't as seamless in the world as Gollum is, because
Yeah.
the worlds in Lord of the Rings actually felt real, whereas like in superhero movies and stuff, like it's
To New
mostly
York.
green
Wow.
screen. Or,
Yeah.
but
Green.
yeah, like when they're on Titan and stuff, it's like it's obviously like computer
Not real.
generated. It looks great, but like
Yeah.
you know,
They couldn't have traveled to some foreign landscape like on Earth, like Madagascar or something like that. Like done what they wanted to do because they want to build these huge sets. And the problem is it's hard to just build those huge sets out in the middle of nowhere anymore. You know, because it's
yeah.
the
But it's hard to beat to like being on set, right? Like
yeah.
being in a place, or it's like
Yeah, you can't beat it. That's like why. That's why freaking Game of Thrones is so good for so long. Weren't they shooting on set like in a lot of old cities around planet Earth and stuff like
yeah.
that?
Even
Like,
House of the Dragon filmed on set in a lot of places. Um,
you
I
use the
mean,
scope of nature. Like, nature in itself is almost like a part of like it's a part of the movie. Like, you gotta like emphasize it sometimes, like to give people scope and wonder. Like, too, like there's wonder on this Earth you can show them. Like, you don't even need to use CGI. That's what Lord of the
yeah.
Rings is so powerful at. Like, these fantastical sweeping landscapes are all in New Zealand. New Zealand's like a tiny little island.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and
you know,
even like Star Wars, like they held a lot of that legacy, and well, at least in the Force Awakens, they shot
mm,
on sets, like in real places. I don't know if they
yeah,
carried that through in the other two movies. I know they did in the Last Jedi. Like all of Octo, where Rey was training, was an actual place they went
island.
to.
Yeah, it was a real island.
Uh, but it's hard to imagine like the final battle of the Rise of Skywalker was anywhere aside from in a parking lot or in a warehouse. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, J.M. DeMatteis is an acclaimed comic book writer. He helped define Guy Gardner. He pretty much said he's lended his support to Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. He said I'm in pretty much. So that's cool, I guess. Not really news, but anyway. And then today, more casting news. Anthony Kerrigan has joined Superman Legacy as well as Metamorpho, another
Mm.
member of the Justice League.
I think I
Uh,
remember him.
yeah, and then if you remember from the previous article I read about Mr. Terrific, his team, the Terrifics, Metamorpho is a member of that as well.
Isn't that
Uh,
like the giant? No, that's Amazo. I'm thinking of. Never mind. Like the giant gold robot.
yeah, uh, Metamorpho is not a Mazo or Red Tornado. Uh,
God, copy that.
yeah, but yeah, so this guy's been cast pretty much. I mean, I don't think there's anything else to this article. He's gonna be a pivotal player for DC, I guess. Yeah. We know. So if you guys don't know who this guy is, Mister Kerrigan here. If you watched Gotham, he played Victor Zsasz. I don't know if that helps anyone, but that's the only thing. Like when I saw him, that's what I recognized him from. But apparently, he's also in a show called Barry. I don't know who he plays, but he is joining the cast of Superman Legacy as Metamorpho. And then James Gunn talked about Blue Beetle a little bit. And pretty much said that Blue Beetle will continue on to the new DCU. His exact quote is, he took to Threads. He took to the new social media site, Instagram's version of Twitter that everybody's moving to. Well, not
Everyone
moving
moved
to,
on to
signing
it
up for in
because
addition to still using Twitter.
it's super easy. If you have Instagram, you just hit sign up, and it does everything for you.
Yeah, but I heard if you wanted to delete your Threads account, you'd have to delete your Instagram account also.
Yeah, that's
I
true. But you can just delete the app and not look at it.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd ever delete the account anyway, but
Yeah.
yeah. So Gunn took to Threads to reveal which characters could be sticking around for his DCU. He said, yes, Blue Beetle, played by the wonderful Zolo Maraduena, and a handful of other characters will continue on in the DCU, even though the first DC Studios movie is Superman Legacy, and the first DC Studios project is the animated TV show Creature Commandos. So that's pretty much all he had to say on that. But he does talk about some other things that make me laugh a little bit. Um, I'll skip to it because it's pretty funny. So I don't know if you guys remember, but like before Shazam and the Flash came out, like he kind of was talking about like, oh, like they're still important, for everything. Like there's like go watch them. Like there's like the Flash resets everything and this and that. Um, but he's kind of said that like, it doesn't matter now. So, James Gunn confirms DC Studios canon starts with Superman Legacy. Um, so he's talking about what is and what isn't canon, essentially. So this is what he said: DC Studios movies in canon start with Superman Legacy. That's all he said. What the fuck? This is the wrong article. Anyway.
Oh,
Uh,
no worries. We all make mistakes.
yeah, yeah.
Like, I decided to get up this morning.
Jesus. So Peter Safran added the DCU's a multiverse, but we're going to be focusing on the universe from that multiverse and something DC. Blah blah. Okay, this is not the right article that I was talking about. Apparently, I don't have that article, but anyway.
Oh.
James Gunn also reveals why so many other DC heroes are appearing in Superman Legacy. Let me guess, he did this on Threads too. I don't know. It says they fit the story I'm telling. Story always comes first. Bro, the people write entire articles off of one tweet. This is bullshit. Anyway, that's why.
Yeah, yes they do.
Holy. Okay, so that's all the DC news. I'm done with this shit. But James Gunn did say essentially that none of these other movies that are coming out now matter at all. So Blue Beetle will carry over, but I mean Aquaman. I guess we don't care about the Flash. We don't care about Shazam. All that shit. So if you guys didn't see them, which obviously nobody did because they bombed, then don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's what I tell myself after I get up in the morning and go look in the mirror. So don't worry about it, and I feel a lot better.
Exactly.
It works.
What the fuck? Okay, so this is the last article I'm going to read, and it's not about DC. It's about Anson Mount. Do you know who that is?
No.
Anson Mount played Black Bolt in the Inhumans TV series and in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And he's also in Star Trek Strange New Worlds. I believe he plays Pike. I haven't watched any of it. I've never been that big into Star Trek, but I do like a lot of the movies.
I'm a big Star Trek fan, but I haven't watched any of the newer stuff because like it's been all over the place on where it is. Like it's on Stars right now, right? Most of the Star Trek stuff is on Star. No, it's not Stars.
It's on
Peacock.
Paramount.
Paramount, that's right. Not Paramount, not Peacock. It's on Paramount. Right, copy that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
When I was a kid, I watched a lot of The Next Generation, and my parents always talked trash about DS9 and Enterprise and stuff, so I never watched them. But I'm a grown adult.
Enterprise is really different. I really enjoyed Deep Space Nine because it was just like I don't know. There are a lot of really good episodes of Deep Space Nine.
I see like in general positive things about Deep Space Nine, but my mom always talked trash about it. That's all I remember, and like. I haven't watched any of it, but again, I'm a grown adult now, so I can come to my own conclusions about things. So eventually, I'll probably check it out. I've watched a bit of the original series of Star Trek. There's only 3 seasons, but there's long episodes.
Yep. No, for doubt, like 49 minutes each, right? That's like the official runtime, I think.
I think like the pilot is like an hour and a half or something.
Yeah, no, that the pilot's like for Voyager, I think it was 2 hours, basically a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I like like Star Trek Nemesis, which was a panned movie. People hated it, but I liked it. And I like like a lot of the Star Trek actual movies, and then the newer ones.
The newer ones are really good sci-fi movies. Yeah, they're really like intense action movies. Like I don't know about how good Star Trek movies they are, but they're really, really good sci-fi movies. Like the special effects in that one, the CGI is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
and shooting on location. They probably seems like they do that and that. Like, it's just they put the CGI where it counts in the ship. Where there's no humans. Giant leadership blowing each other up.
Yeah.
And Benedict Cumberbatch 1v5ing an entire Klingon hit squad was pretty badass too.
Yeah, I love those movies. I loved all three of them. So, yeah, I do want to watch this Strange New Worlds series. It looks really good, but I don't. Yeah, I don't know if it's out of my league or not. But
I watched the first season of the newer one. What's it called? Discovery. Like when it first started coming out, it was
yeah.
When it first came back to TV, it was Discovery. I actually thought that first season was pretty intense and pretty good. Like I agree with some people thought like they kind of mutated the Klingons a little bit to serve their interests, but like instead of just inventing some new alien race, which is something they could have done. But still like I thought again like special effects in that were so good.
Yeah. Did you watch any of Picard? I heard it was very disappointing.
I watched the first season. It was okay. Like it was. I just think it wasn't. I think what a lot of people thought was that they were going to get more next gen, and they did. Like they didn't get next gen at all. Like it was a pretty consistent plot over the course of time. I was like, got to find data. And I only watched the first season. I haven't watched the second season. I heard the second season like it's a little bit better.
So it's The Force Awakens.
Yeah. Well, like, no, but I heard the second season gets better though.
But instead of having to find Luke, they have to find Data.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, but Data's like in charge, but there's also like this robot like death.
Is their main enemy the Romulans still or the Borg?
No, they're like AI extremists, like they're androids because like the Federation. Okay. Star Trek lore moment. The Federation like has like a really weird rules about like if whether or not androids are people, and so like the androids are about to go wage war, like wage technological warfare and stuff on the. But the Borg are still there. Like there's a cube. 7 of 9 I think resurrects a cube to help fight the androids. It's like pretty badass. It's pretty badass though. Seeing the Borg cube in full CGI. And the Romulans pop up sometimes, but dude, Romulan warbirds are so freaking cool though. Like the ship designs are just so awesome. I think it's what a lot of people want to see, like just in modern times.
Yeah. So anyway, star of Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, Anson Mount. He was asked if he had received an offer to return to the MCU as Black Bolt. And he says, if the answer was yes, I wouldn't be able to tell you, but the answer is no, so I can. I've had some informal conversations with the powers at Marvel, and it's a conversation, but they've got their current phase that they need to do. He continued, I don't know, we'll see. I would love to jump back into the cowl and do it again. I love Black Bolt as a character. Hey, you know what, Anson Mount? So do I. Okay, I got a tattoo of him on my fucking arm, man. Yeah, well, not really him, just his suit. But
the first thing you said when he came out of the the new Doctor Strange movie was not like, wow, that was a great Doctor Strange movie. It's like, wow, I'm so happy they finally had like an accurate portrayal of Black Bolt.
Yeah,
like just his ability to delete everybody.
Yeah, I mean that's the moment, man. That's the moment. My doorbell is ringing. I hope it is not my wife trying to get me to let her in because I am podcasting.
No worries. I can hold it down.
Okay. Secret Invasion, episodes 2 and 3. We're gonna talk about that. Talk about Secret Invasion a little bit.
Oh no. All right. Okay. Let's see. Episode 2 of Secret Invasion. Nick Fury is confused, and people are angry with him, and they're telling him, "Don't try and do this mission, Nick Fury. You're too old and too stupid and too violent." And he's like, "I'm Nick Fury, bitch." And then he goes and he does the mission, and he gets some intel and he rescues some people and things are saved, and that's great. And then he goes from that to then on episode 3, Nick Fury isn't really involved that much at all, and it's more about the Skrulls. It's like trying to get a grip on the fact that now that some of the Skrulls can have superpowers. And you can't do this. This is madness. And he's like, we're going to lead to the extinction of the human race, bucko. And then he fucks off. And everyone's like, wow, this guy's too crazy. And then they don't do anything about it because we wait until one of the heroes comes and does something about it. And then there's so he's going to start World War III by using a Russian sub to shoot down a UN plane or some stupid dumb bullshit like that. And it's just So like, Nick Fury's like, oh, I'm Nick Fury, I'm not retired, I'm fucking Nick Fury, bitch, which is basically like how this show's been going so far. Is Nick Fury just says, I'm Nick Fury, bitch, and then he goes and he fucking saves the day. So he fucking shows up busted on this house with his squirrel buddy, who was like, there was like a buddy cop movie with him, and like talking about how fucking old they are.
Yeah.
I mean, they beat up the guys and they threaten the kid, and he's like, "Don't shoot my fucking kid! I'm gonna get you so upset." And it was like, "Well, then this is not a negotiation." And then
Yeah, there's a lot of thematic undertones in this series about like parent-child relationships and stuff.
Yep.
Especially because Talos, is dealing with his daughter first betraying him and then coming back to him, and
yeah. Spoilers, by the way. His daughter gets shot in the she gets fucking shot, bro. Like she gets gunned down. Like in the most dumbest way possible too. You think she could have just kept on riding? She could have rode right past that car. She was on a motorcycle. She was on a dirt bike. She could have done it. She obviously knows how to ride a dirt bike. She just didn't do it because she's gonna stop and talk to the villain. So basically, like,
she doesn't want to seem suspicious, even though she's like clearly running away from the compound
at 2 a.m. in the morning on a dirt bike.
Yo, also, what the fuck is Gravik doing? He's just sitting there in the car waiting. How long was he waiting?
He knows, bro. He just knows.
Bro's just there sitting in the car like any moment now.
So there's like two guys on this dumb Russian sub or something like that. One guy's like, "Oh, I don't want to fucking shoot down a UN plane," and the other guy's like, "Do it, I'm gonna fucking shoot in the fucking head, you fucking piece of shit." And then so they get ready to shoot it, and then like, I don't know the passcode to the password to tell the people on the Russian sub to not shoot down the plane.
Right, it's not clearly the fucking kid's name. Jesus.
Name or anything like that.
Oh, even I knew that.
So yeah, and he just. So he calls this freaking kid, and his kid is like downloads this dude's memories because it's actually a scroll. That's like, dude's actually a scroll, and he's like trying to keep it hidden that he's a scroll, but then they just shoot him anyway. He's like, "Oh, look at this, it's a scroll." And so they have him like the Emilia Clarke goes down in the basement and downloads this dude's memories right before the Core Snatcher, right before it happens. Good, again, classic spy stuff all littered around here. And then she's like, "All right, I gotta get the fuck out of here." And then she gets on a motorcycle and she's getting the fuck out of there. And then like some headlights turn on and she just comes to a complete stop and gets off the motorcycle. And she was like, "Yeah, I don't know, like our agents in the field needed me right now." I don't need to tell our leader that. Yeah. So and then she gets shot. She gets gunned down. It was really funny. Like when she got shot, like, dude, that's so fucking stupid.
Bro, like, here's the thing, like,
honestly, so far, like, this show is entertaining to me, but like almost in like a comedic way, because like Nick Fury's like, I'm so fucking old, I'm Nick Fury, bitch, and then he like does everything anyway.
Bro, he's Nick Fury is so Samuel L. Jackson that it's like it's humorous,
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed him and Rhodey kind of jabbing at each other in episode 2.
Yeah, when they were like trying to arrest him, he's like, "I'm Nick Fury, bitch." He's like literally what's happening, bro. He's like, "I'm Nick Fury, bitch. I can do whatever I want."
Yeah.
That
the biggest question we have now is Gaia really dead? And I want to say,
I think that's why it panned over to her showing like the dead scroll body, but maybe she gets resurrected.
Right, because they've established when they shoot the human version or whatever, and when they die, they transform back into a scroll.
Yeah.
However, all I've seen since that episode is Emilia Clarke talking about her MCU future and things of that nature. And there's a new episode today, and I didn't watch it yet, but I did see a headline: "Spoiler lives, spoiler dies." And it just says spoiler, so I don't know who they are, but I'm pretty sure the first one is going to be Gaia. And the only way that's possible is if she got someone else to turn into Emilia Clarke to go out there and get shot. And how fucked up would that be? Like, oh, can you just turn into the human version of me and pretend like, you're guilty of something and go get murdered?
Yep.
Like, go run away. I'll be safe here just as someone else. Yeah, so
we'll just have to wait and see, dude. Don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. But one thing, right? Like, I found the scene entertaining, but I don't know if it's just me having a bugged brain or whatever. Uh, but the whole like UN council thing where they're like interrogating Rhodey about like Nick Fury's presence at the bombings
Yeah.
made like no sense to me. In the way that like I get it, they're all Skrulls pretty much. So like obviously they're like against him, but logically, like it would make total sense why Nick Fury would be there to like try to stop it. Like
Yeah.
like how hard is that to explain? Like, yo, we saw Nick Fury there at that place where the things got bombed. Why is this guy who was like the director of Shield over there during a bombing? Well, okay, like why are the Avengers at every major fucking Earth shattering event too to try to fucking stop it? Of course, dumb fucks. Like where the
Yeah.
fuck is French Nick Fury and fucking Gibraltar Nick Fury? Like why weren't they there?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like they're like, Nick Fury was there, and we have evidence, and that makes America look guilty. Guilty of fucking what?
Yeah. Yeah. I like how he went and told them all off. It was pretty funny.
Or he didn't even really do that. He just like,
No,
uh,
Brody did though. Remember, like at that meeting, he was like, "Yeah, the president doesn't fucking come at your beck and call because you're fucking
oh yeah, yeah,
politicians." And
yeah.
fucking,
He more or less he was like, he's like, you don't deserve my time, and go fuck yourself, and then just walked out. So, and then he met with Nick Fury, and there was some interesting conversation going on there. Like I said, I enjoyed a lot of the japing and jabbing. This is one of those scenes that I think it just pisses off people who want to be angry about everything. Uh,
Mhm.
like why do they have to bring up race in every conversation? Shut up.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was interesting. And then yeah, like I mentioned last week, but I didn't want to spoil much. It's pretty clear what they're going to do with Super Scrolls, right? I mean, they're gonna get all these powers from other heroes and pretend to be them.
Mhm.
That's my guess. Do you have any predictions about that or?
Yeah, that's right. It's I think this was pretty obviously going. Like I think I think the fun part though is what's gonna happen is that may redeem the series is maybe the scrolls have to capture the heroes first. So there's like maybe we get some cameos. Maybe
Oh
that's what
yeah,
I'm
because
thinking.
they have to
Drag
scan
them in
them,
that
right?
basement and yeah, and download their brain in that thing. So maybe who do you think the first hero they're gonna grab is? Like that's what I'm thinking is gonna happen, and then it's gonna be like
Oh, it's got to be
that
someone moderately not big.
Falcon, Winter Soldier. Well, Falcon's Captain America now, so
It look
maybe
at James Rode goes to the top of the list.
you know
He's already in the
ready.
series, uh,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have powers. So like,
Yeah, yeah. Anyone could be wearing. Well, he could like take off his freaking mask at the end and like say, "Oh, it was me. I did it. I fucking hate these people." Like he
yeah,
goes to like London and blows stuff up with the what's it called? That suit called the War Maker suit or
War
whatever.
Machine.
The War Machine. Yeah,
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think it's much easier for them to give themselves other superheroes' powers instead of stealing a suit. I think that'd be much more difficult for them to do for some
Yeah.
reason, but or building their own suit. So they probably won't do that. But I mean, as far as like obvious characters they're going to turn into without powers, I mean Nick Fury and Rhodey are potentials there. Um, but who else could they? I mean, Groot because it can be CGI. They don't need to get an actor in for that. So Groot's a
Hmm.
pretty obvious one. Any other like characters that are just entirely CGI would be easy. Um, but yeah, I don't
Thor.
know.
I guess Thor's pretty powerful, so maybe they couldn't do it.
Yeah, and Thor. I mean, again, they'd have to like build prop hammers and shit. That's way too much work for the scrolls. They just want to transform and be injected with fucking needles and or whatever the machine is. I don't know that gives them powers, but
Yep.
yeah, it'll be interesting. It's hard to
Right.
imagine.
Yeah, that's where I think it's going. That we'll get like one cameo per episode leading up to some big like kind of semi Avengers thing, and then that will launch us into what the next movie is supposed to be. What's the next MCU movie coming out again? If it does come
The
out.
next MCU movie is The Marvels, November,
Hmm.
and I did see Nick Fury in the trailer.
trailer. Yeah.
But he was up on
Space station.
Saber, so.
Yep.
I don't know if this takes place before or after that, to be honest. But if he goes back to Saber at the end, then we'll know it's after.
Yeah.
And if he dies, we'll know it's before. Or something. Yeah, one of those ways it goes. But yeah. I don't know. I'm still enjoying Secret Invasion.
I don't hate it for sure, but also like I don't like, oh wow, this is the most amazing thing that's ever come out. Like, you know, I could watch other things. Like, I'm probably only gonna watch the new episode Tuesday before the podcast, just so we can talk about it. And like, you know, I'll probably enjoy it then when I'm watching it in that moment. But like for the most part, I'm still just watching anime all the time. Or I think I'm starting Visions tonight. Did you want to go over Visions, watch it together, and go over it, or is that not something you wanted to do?
We can. I still haven't finished the first season of Visions. But it shouldn't take that long. I think most episodes are only like 10 minutes or so, like 15 minutes max. So I'll watch them all eventually, and then we'll talk about it.
Yep.
So, but yeah. Other than that, not a whole lot to say. Not much going on. But we'll be back next week to talk about episode 4 and potentially other things and whatever news pops up from between now and then. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us, for tuning in, for listening to all of our bullshit. Hope you all have a great day. Follow, like, subscribe, click buttons, click like things. I don't know, rate and reviews and all those other things. And yeah, goodbye. Yep. Mucha love. All right, I'm clicking end now. Bop.